I'm Ashton Addison from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews we have Abdul, co-founder of ZIGChain. Abdul, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting. I remember a
Likewise.
couple of years ago, my co-founder and partner Bart was also on the show with you. So I think it's been a journey since then. Yeah, so glad to be here.
Yeah, I was going to mention that we did have Bart on the show a few years ago, and it's great to see Zignaly still growing. And from what I've heard, the numbers were the strongest ever in 2024. And I'm excited for the growth of ZIGChain and to hear how your team is expanding the operations. I would love to start off with just a little bit about Zignaly and what your team has built at ZIGChain and what's the latest, and then we can dive into all the details.
Absolutely. Thank you very much once again for the opportunity. So yeah, I mean, right now we are under these kind of two boards, but yeah, ZIGChain is like a very great and grandeur, vision implementation of what we started at Zignaly. Zignaly, which started like a copy trading platform, and transformed into a larger profit sharing hedge fund solution kind of a, platform B2C as well as B2B. It has done phenomenally well across 2024. We did like the largest ever revenue numbers in our history. We remain the largest broker under the Binance program. We got like the FSCA license in South Africa. We got licensed in Saint Vincent. We are in process of getting a couple of other jurisdictions as well. So as a business, Zignally has been doing really well. But when we look at Zignally, it is just a single product, which is very much right now focused on centralized trading. We have Binance and Bybit. But when you really look at the opportunities into the market, it is greater than that. It is more about the DeFi market as well, where you can get early meme coins, or if you can get into the NFT trading or yield farming or staking, or most importantly, the tokenization of the real world asset is actually coming on chain as well, right? So the whole trade fi space, which we will be missing out on to if we limit Signally only as a single product. So while we were going on to that journey, we realized that we do billions and billions of volume every year, and we do millions of transactions every week, actually. So why don't we actually have infrastructure of our own and, kind of little bit curate the DeFi system that we want to see for these investment platforms to grow? So Signal is then not the only player in the greater scheme of things that is solving for the greater wealth generation and financial inclusion for everyone, but there can be more players coming in, and they can really focus on the go to market and the fund management side, and the infrastructure is taken care by us. So keeping this in mind, we introduced something called ZIGChain, which is built on Cosmos SDK, just to make sure that we are not reinventing the wheel, and and everything is in place already. Our testnet is about to go live, I think, in less than 2 weeks now, and our mainnet is expected sometime in early Q2. So, with that in mind, we have a strong community. We have done really well over the last couple of years. That's a very quick brief about what we're up to.
Yeah, that's. I think it's expanding in the right direction. It's great to see that Zignaly and copy trading and just a trading platform is growing. And from what I see with Zignaly over the past few years, it seems that there's a focus on wealth generation, and there's multiple ways to generate wealth, and
Yeah,
expanding out into different product lines seems like the next logical step. So what's the
absolutely.
first, what are the next exact steps after Zignaly launching ZigChain? How do you get people started into finding other ways to generate wealth?
Right, absolutely. That's a great question. So Zignally as a platform, as a current platform, will also expand into DeFi. So it will become a perfect DeFi plus a CeFi product on its own. What's going to happen on a ZigChain level, which already is happening? We are not creating new more products. We are just creating infrastructure. And through our Zig Labs and our through Kickstart program, we are inviting dApps to come over and build. Just last week, we announced the first ever dApp that is being built on ZigChain. Well, it's being built by some OGs of Zig, by the way, and they are creating an AI-powered decentralized exchange. This week, we are also expecting to announce one more, dApp. By announcement, I mean we are not announcing it; they are announcing it, and we are just enabling them, throwing them out to our community. So going into the testnet, it is a really good feeling that there are already 10 plus dApps that are building on ZigChain, and they're all independent dApps. We are not creating anything in-house. We're just giving it the right tool set, help on the early funding as well as, and these are investments, by the way. We are on a zero grant kind of a strategy. We don't want to give a grant, we will give investments, and we have channel partners who give investments. So what would happen is that one thing is primitives like decentralized exchanges and token launchers, lending borrowing protocols, liquidity staking. And then we are actually hunting down the DeFi protocols and specifically the RWA based protocols, which are, bringing the TradeFi yield into the DeFi world. Having that would give opportunity to the fund managers at Zignaly to invest now in more products just as compared to be like trading on the centralized exchanges. Now imagine you are a fund manager, or if you are a B2C entity in the fund management space, you can create something like Zignaly as it is on top of our blockchain. We are creating something called wealth generation engine, which is a USP of our blockchain. We'll be releasing a lot of information around it. Basically, this will be an environment where anyone can come in and create a fund management platform which can tap into all the dApps. And like the whole accounting and technology and smart contracts and everything is being taken care of. This is something which has taken us some time to see through, thought through, legal it out and everything. But now it's about to go like come out in the next, I would say, couple of months. And that is going to change the way I would say that people invest in Web3. Problem has been, if you look at the Web2 people, for the last 3 days, everyone has been talking about the Trump coin, right? But it has become very easy for them. Well, sorry, it is not easy for them to get the Trump coin. How do they get the Trump coin? That's the question. Just today, there is a 55-year-old guy who lives near my house. Okay, he came and asked me, how do I get this Trump coin? So there are people who wants to get in, but there's a greater UI UX problem, okay, which is associated with the Web3. And I think we as a blockchain want to cultivate the culture where the blockchain returns or the blockchain technology is used to ease the life of people and include them in the process of wealth generation and financial inclusion. And it should not be the case where someone coming new feels, like threatened and feel like that they're in front of the audience where they'll be mocked out because they don't even know what the Web3 wallet looks like, right? So we are basically trying that the whole backend infrastructure, like the dApps and the wealth generation engine and everything takes care of the DeFi side of the things. But from a UI UX perspective, the dApps that are built as the protocol, they should be able to show it to the people in the most easiest way. When this starts happening, the adoption of TradeFi into DeFi would be super fast.
Definitely, and I love that story about the Trump coin. With there's a lot of people that they want to get into this, they just don't know the right steps, or there's some small technical barriers to entry. And I think Zignaly in the beginning had that understanding, and that's why as a copy trading platform, it's also designed for people to, like, I don't really know the details, but like I know that there's smart people and I want to follow them. So how can we expand on this idea into even more stuff? And so with that said, ZIGChain, obviously there's a lot of advantages for that, which I want to dive into, but I want to focus on lowering the barriers to entry, helping wealth generation for those non-technical people. How exactly can you get more Web 2 people, TradFi, non-tech people into using the expansion of ZIGChain? How is it actually going to lower the technical barriers to entry for new people into Web3?
If you go to Zignaly's platform right now, accept the fact that it accepts, crypto as a deposit, there is nothing Web3 about it, Yes, the fund managers are investing in cryptos, that's correct, but there is nothing crypto about it. You use the platform, you will get a feeling that you are using something like, MT4, MT5, where you're following the PAM accounts. This is the beauty of it. And we want to transmit it out to all the dApps that are building on us. It is only possible when the backend infrastructure is fantastic, okay, and the wealth generation engine that we are talking about connects everything properly, so that whoever comes and builds these fund management tools on top of it, they can also provide this ease of access to the end user. Of course, there are some things that will always happen. For example, permissions of wallet connections and all. That will always happen. You cannot go around it. Maybe you can ease it out a bit, but that's like those are not low-hanging fruits. Low-hanging fruit would be that someone, okay, in a TradeFi world, um, should be able to see that there is a fund manager or a particular platform built over ZIGChain has generated 15% return last year, and through one button, this person should be able to invest. This is how the barrier would be removed. And this is, as I said, this is only possible by the way if you start thinking like that. A greater problem that we have seen in Web3 is that Web3 developers are very native Web3 in many ways, and they don't really think about the end users. They think about the end users within the Web3. They don't think outside the Web3. We have cracked it over the years. 70% of our audience at Zignaly, their first ever crypto account has been Zignaly.
Wow.
This shows that they come from TradeFi. Yeah. This number was actually 85 to 90% 3 years ago. But then we launched our token and a lot of token audience started coming in. Right. But before that, this number was like 90%. So 90% of our audience used to be like non-crypto people. Their first ever crypto account was Zignaly. This number is still 70%.
Wow.
Now, so this again shows that solving for this UI UX problem and then giving it out as like a blue book would really solve this problem. Now, yes, again, as I said, like there can be particular products where you will always have to interact through Web3 wallets. But then if you look at non-custodial wallets, right, they also solve this to a certain extent where your email ID becomes like custodian of your wallet, which is like half in your phone, half is there, like keys are divided. Those things are also solving the problem. So you have to abstract away that difficulty and really bring in the Web2 audience, because let's be very clear about it that right now the liquidity and the depth in the DeFi world or in the crypto world overall is a fraction of what is out there. And if we really want to get of all of that or a big part of it, especially when the RWS and everything starts coming in, you would really need to solve for the user experience problem. Otherwise, forget it. This industry might not grow beyond speculation.
Definitely. And I think that's important, having a good user experience, especially when you actually have a native Web3 product. You have a decentralized exchange where in the past, there hasn't been as much user experience. It hasn't been easy compared to a centralized exchange. So we need to fix that. And so with that focus on user experiences and interfaces, how is that going to look on ZIGChain, on these new dApps that are launching?
So we cannot really govern how they create those dApps. But this is the culture that we want to drive through the ZIGChain Foundation. That we have set up a Cayman Foundation, and we are setting up a team and everything, and Kickstart program and Zig Labs and everything. By the virtue of driving what we believe are the core value set. So there are multiple functions there. One is to support them, one is to invest them and everything. And obviously, you don't really invest into everything that's been built on your chain, right? It is not scalable, not possible. So the way you basically drive the narrative is what is adopted by the dApps, right? You tell them that your focus is DAUs and volume and meme coins and XYZ. There's no harm in that. Yeah, do it. But this is not what we are doing. Great to have volumes, great to have DAUs, great to have meme coins and NFTs and everything. We will also have that. But when you drive your focus through your communication and through your documentation of your blockchain, as a blockchain which is focused on DeFi and wealth generation, this is what dApps pick up. And this is how they built it. So like we've started seeing some wireframes and some UI of the DEX that's being built on ZIGChain. It's called AuroSwap. It's beautiful. I would not say much. I think people will start seeing it themselves very soon. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's like state of the art. You can compare it with something like Jupyter, with like Radium maybe, So this is the kind of quality that we are trying to drive. Again, we can do curation to a certain extent by talking to certain partners, but eventually we believe that if we are actually able to solve the problem and And when the more dApps start coming in, then they see, oh, this chain already has $1 billion in TVL, and the dApps on it looks beautiful and easy to use, and they are making a lot of money. Then they would not also create shitty stuff, because they would know that the people on this blockchain, they are used to a certain kind of an experience, and they also have to deliver certain experience to get the juice out of it. Because the Zignaly's audience, current audience, is very used to great UI UX. If you look at Zignaly's UI UX, it's phenomenal, it's amazing, it's industry leading, right? And so if you want to capture the Zignaly's current community into DeFi products, you really will have to meet their standards. So this is how it's gonna work.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to seeing those launches. And you mentioned the testnet. Where exactly is it at with the chain, the dApps, and what can people do on the testnet to get started before the next stages?
Right. So that is something very interesting. So testnet is not going to be like your typical boring testnet where you just go and run a Galaxy campaign. Yeah, that will be there as well. But so we have hired an agency called Optalysis. They are one of the finest gamification experts. And by gamification, I don't mean point system and a leaderboard. That's level one. They are like the advanced level gamification experts who have worked with Ethereum Foundation, Tesla, Google, Alphabet, Dutch Airline. And they have really designed a brand new experience with us. So the testnet would also be in phases. The first part of the testnet would be a little basic in terms of people would be able to take out the tokens and do XYZ. And the dApps will start coming on testnet as well within 10 to 15 days of testnet. So you will have a decentralized exchange and a token launcher, and people would be able to deploy LP and trade tokens and do blah, blah, blah. And a few days after that, after the testnet, we are going to be launching an experiential testnet, which would be like a game. So, you would be able to do things inside it. The core dApps will be integrated on a testnet level. Again, independent dApps like a decentralized exchange, a token launcher, and maybe a few other. People would have to make tasks, and that would give them pointers. And what would they get out of it would be a wealth pass. What is this wealth pass? Wealth pass would be a gateway of everything and anything to do with the OGs of the chain community. We cannot say too much about it. We want to keep like some mystery around it. We want people to find it out over the period of time. But think of it ZigPass so wealth pass to be something like that. Anyone and any dApp that comes in and they want to develop on ZigChain, and they want to find out that, okay, where are the people? Where is the core community? They would just have a simple answer that, okay, the wealth pass holders. So how many wealth pass would there be? What the wealth pass would exactly do? What would you have to do for the wealth pass? For all these answers, you will have to wait for the testnet to come in and then start seeing. But I'm very excited about it. I've seen things, of course, we are creating those things. I don't think that Web3 has seen that kind of a testnet experience ever. So, fingers crossed, but I personally believe that we are going to deliver the most disruptive testnet and mainnet experience ever in the industry.
Wow, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And is there any timeline for the start of the campaign or the testnet?
Testnet is not more than 2 weeks away now.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, so we are expecting it end of January or early February. We're just fixing a few things on the security side, but yeah, it's done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always when you're creating these gigantic chains and all the dApps in the ecosystem. There's never a definitive date when you're looking months.
Yeah, absolutely, so. absolutely. Yeah, like it's always the problem, but that's okay. It's fine. I mean, like which also shows that you are doing something on the technology and it's not just a copy paste. Mm-hmm. And specifically, when it comes to dApps, as I said, we made this commitment in-house. There are few blockchains who were like, okay, let's do everything in-house, and their go-to-market became really fast. We could have done the same, but we said, if we do that, where is the scalability and where is the word of mouth? Because in developer communities, the biggest thing is actually the word of mouth. And if you do not allow these dApps to be built by independent people and grow on their own, so that they talk about you, that's game over. So you have to go through that journey, and then you get the gold out.
Yeah, no, I love that approach, and I think it's a testament that there are dApp developers that are choosing ZIGChain for the technology and the community to launch on, because there's so many blockchains nowadays and that have different languages and different sizes of communities already. How do you choose where to start and hope that there's the interoperability to expand around?
And interestingly, we have not given a single grant, and we will most likely not give a single grant. Despite of that, we have more than 100 teams who have already applied under Zig Labs for investments, and they have like product ideas. They're not random people. Most of them are experienced Web3 founders. The team that is building like the DApps, for example, they have been part of 3 projects before. The team that is going to do a token launcher, they have been part of 2 to 3 projects before as well. So, they are like fresh teams coming in. Reason being that last 1 year, we have been around a lot, and I think we have driven the narrative really well. I don't want to call it like an RWA chain, but it is what really is going to be, because the yield inside the Web3 is one thing, but what we are really focusing on is to extract the yield from the TradeFi and give it to the blockchain, not ourselves, but through the protocols. We have 2, 3 of such protocols already done and dusted, and they're deploying as we speak. They're working on it. Imagine them being there and they are able to pass through this yield to the people on chain, and then the primitives are on work, like DAX and token launcher and everything is working on its own. So it can be like a beautiful collage of its own. And this is really a good narrative where people are rallying up. So, like now when we go to the conferences, we don't really have to, run like a hackathon. We're doing a side event and you have 100 developers coming in the room saying, okay, guys, we want to develop with you. We did one event in Amsterdam on a Sunday afternoon. 300 people showed up on one tweet, and like 60, 70 of them were dads. Same happened in Dubai alongside Binance Blockchain Week. We did an event on one day before Binance Blockchain Week. 300-400 people turned up. 30% of them were devs. They want to do something with us. So I think old name in industry has also helped a lot. We are also doxed, and we also want most of the again, it's a personal choice, but we really tell them the importance of being doxed so that people can trust you. So yeah, this is the kind of a culture that we are trying to develop.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting to see those numbers coming out without any grants. And at the beginning, you mentioned all the different parts of the ecosystem, and an important part, which as I understand would come later on, is real world assets, tokenization. BlackRock is talking about tokenizing assets and putting them on chain, and real world assets is trillions of market cap that could be tokenized. So later on down the road, how do you foresee that fitting into the ZIGChain ecosystem?
So it is not later down the road. We are actually expecting 1 or 2 protocols. In fact, this is also going to be a protocol so there is a very seasoned founder with a financial management background based out of Dubai, and there is a very senior person who is partnering up with him. They are looking to build on ZIGChain and RWA platform. And this RWA platform will be tokenizing real estate, will be tokenizing anything in the world that yields basically. So this is not something that is going to happen down the line. This is something which we hope and we are expecting to happen day one of the mainnet, and maybe over on the testnet. So this is going to happen. We are facilitating these conversations. We are trying to open doors for them. Again, as I said, this is the advantage of fostering an environment where developers can come and create, where we provide them all the Legos, but they create the robot. That works. So RWAs, I am extremely bullish. The reason being, well, people think RWA is real estate. It actually is not. Real estate is a lot of abundance, a lot of volume, but little margins for the platforms. Where is the real money in RWA for the platforms is, the CFDs, the mutual funds and the hash funds getting tokenized, gold mines, insurance contracts. There's a huge Sharia DeFi market, and there's a Sharia, Islamic insurance market, Islamic loan market. Those can be tokenized and brought on chain. there's a huge chunk of liquidity out there in the world that would love to have that. Like if you just tokenize a trade file of one part of the world and offer it to the other part of the world, this arbitrage alone can bring, and this is RWA, right? What is RWA? Real world asset, right? That's it. So anything that you do which tokenize the yield of the real world and bring it on chain, that's it. And this is really going to be our focus. So for us, the RWA is not something down the line.
Mm-hmm.
RWA is something which will be there even before the chain is launched.
Wow. Well, that's very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing that part as well, Abdul. And with the testnet launch in the near future, and then that campaign going on in this experiential gaming, which sounds very interesting, what's the best way for people to follow along, get involved early on, and test out the functions as they become released in the different dApps?
Social media or Twitter is the best place for the retail audience to engage. ZIGChain.com as well. But our Twitter is the best place for anyone. If you are just a retail follower and investor, you should be there. If you're a developer, you can always come in. I'm all over Twitter myself. My DMs are open. Zig Labs also now has a Twitter handle. Their DMs are open. Twitter is the best source of the aggregated information, and then it signposts you to the relevant places. But yeah, like if you're really interested and if you want to follow it point to point, you follow us on X. And if you're a developer, you will get signposted to Discord most likely, where we will take care of you and everything. So yeah, but X is the place to be.
Sounds great. I will leave the link to the ZIGChain and your X as well, and the ZIGChain website for people in the show notes below. I'm excited for the launch of ZIGChain and all these dApps. Wishing you and your team the best on it. Would love to follow up in the near future when the next stages of development are in reality.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you very much, Ashton, for having us today. Yeah, I mean, we are going to be gold sponsors at Token 2049. And, from your audience, I would like to give away one exclusive pass to attend Token 2049. So you pick from your audience, it's a gift from our side.
That sounds great, Abdul. Thank you so much. Wishing you guys all the best and would love to follow up in the near future.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.